Okay, guys. So let's come to the point. So here, like both of you guys, you are the fresher in Citrix, and just forget about the Citrix. That will be my job to groom you technically about Citrix. But my question is that to you guys, do you know what is virtualization? Anyone can answer.
Yes,
Yes, what is that?
virtualization is basically
Mm-hmm,
virtualization of all the servers instead of using the physical hardware
mm-hmm,
and its resources. We're actually using
mm-hmm.
every bit of resource which is provided for the server in the virtualized form. Let's say a virtual machine, for
And
example,
why we are doing it? What is the benefit?
to to maximize the usage of the resources available on the server in terms of storage or RAM,
Apart
or,
from that,
any computing power. Let's say
mm-hmm,
processors.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Then
and that's basic um, that I could say.
the security, digital security, and the enhanced security of the data, right? Because
Understood. Mhm.
for IT companies and for the banking sector, data is everything, right?
Mhm.
Whatever they guys, because data is their product, right? Whatever they guys are doing, they guys are working on the product or maybe on the programming, maybe on the in banking sector, they guys are developing their applications, right? So by providing that virtual infra to end user over the cloud, so basically what we are doing, we are virtualizing our physical hardwares and we are creating a number of virtual machine on that particular server just to utilize that particular server up to its maximum efficiency. So basically when it comes to the maximum efficiency, that means it should be utilized up to 100%, but in practical world that is in ideal or in practical but that is not never possible to utilize anything up to its 100%, right? So we will consider to utilize any server up to 80% of its hardware resources. Why? Because after 80% there will be a slowness, so we will configure the servers in that way. If any of the server is overutilizing more than 80%, in that case you will get some alert on the monitoring console. Why? Because we need smooth operations as well, right? We cannot do that thing to overutilize it, right? Okay. So what is hypervisor?
It is a software to virtualize on
Hmm.
hardware.
And what are the types of the hypervisors?
Type 1 and type 2.
Perfect. What is type 1 and what is type 2?
Type 1 can be any bare metal server, and
Mm-hmm.
type 2 would be like VMware workstation software, which can be installed on laptops or desktops.
Okay, good. And what are the examples for the type 1 and type 2?
Type 1 can
This is
be
ESXi,
there is
type 1 Hyper-V.
Perfect. And what is type 2?
VMware workstation, then
Mm-hmm.
we have Oracle based, I can't remember the name, but like on different platforms they have, even for Citrix, you can,
Okay.
sorry, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
What is the major difference between type 1 and type 2? Anyone can answer. Guys, type 1 it is your operating system and type 2 that is your application.
Uh,
Okay. Whenever you have to install type 2 hypervisor, you will be requiring an operating system first to install that application, right? It
mhm.
is same like on Windows 10 you are installing VMware Workstation Pro, right? So VMware Workstation Pro that is application, and to install that application you will be requiring an operating system. And type 1 it is a direct operating system and you can directly install that OS over the physical hardware. So
Mm.
the example is VMware ESXi, your Hyper-V. your Citrix hypervisor. Earlier, it was known as Gen server. And type to your VMware Workstation Pro, then your Oracle VirtualBox, maybe Docker. Okay, so these are the examples. So you guys are quite clear with the hypervisor. That is sounds good. So now, do you have any idea what is Citrix? You are having the definition on your screen. Please do not go word to word. Just try to explain whatever you know. Whatever you know, just try to explain in your own words.
Well, Citrix as a platform provides virtualization of
Mm-hmm.
and centralization of desktops and applications,
Mm-hmm.
and it utilizes a master image
Mm-hmm.
uh, which can be used to to be deployed for its clients for its users.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So whenever someone asks you, and that is a very, very basic question, right? Someone may ask you what is
Mm.
Citrix, right? So you should be able to answer this. So the basic definition is that it is a company having headquarters in US, Florida, and it is most popular into the virtualization. And the most popular product from Citrix in virtualization is Citrix Virtual Apps and Virtual Desktop. So earlier, Virtual Desktop virtual apps, it were known as Gen app, and virtual desktop, the old name was Gen desktop. But after the release of version 7.12, they guys renamed their product from Gen app to virtual apps and from Gen desktop to the virtual desktops, right? So for older guys, they guys still used to have these pronunciation only, like Gen app and Gen desktop, like older guys like me who are into the technology, this technology since long time. But for newcomers, it is Citrix Virtual Apps and Virtual Desktop. In short, it is known as CVAD, that is Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktop. Any doubt here, guys?
No,
No.
Clear?
Yeah.
So you must know this basic definition, okay?
okay.
Okay, so now this is how the you can consider it as a network diagram, flow chart, or drawing, whatever do you want to consider. Basically, these are the working and key components inside Citrix data center. So you can see some of the basic components like you might know, that is Active Directory and SQL Server, right? What is Active Directory, guys?
Active Directory is a centralized management
Mhm.
of managing things like security groups, user information. Uh,
And what is SQL Server?
SQL Server is a database
Database.
server.
Perfect. So the basic requirement before preparing for the Citrix, I want to know guys, like, are you quite familiar with the AD operation? Like if I ask you to, join any computer into the domain, if you have to reset any end user password, if you have to delete any computer account from the AD server, are you quite compatible with this? Comfortable with that?
Yeah, Mahesh, for
Yes.
Active Directory, yes.
Mm-hmm.
SQL Server, no.
No, basically, listen, SQL Server, that is not our job, okay?
Mhm.
But SQL Server, it is a database and it should be connected to the data center, right? In every company, you will find separate colleagues, that is DBA guys, database engineers, right? Database administrator, right? So whenever you are facing any issue with the SQL Server, you have to reach out them. Why? Because we are not the database guys. We are into the
Mhm.
virtualization, right? But we always know na, if SQL Server is down, that means database is down, right? If database is down, so no user will be able to connect into the sessions, right? So
Mhm.
once like you will get the director console over there, you can monitor each and every server, right? So you will get some alert like SQL is down or SQL is not pinging, right? So in that case, you have to reach out to your database guys, okay? But yeah, you might know na, like which is our database in Citrix, right? Because SQL
Mm.
Server is common for every company, right? And that particular database, it is used for Office 365, Citrix, maybe for VMware, or maybe from Intune, right? And multiple things, right? So SQL Server will be the same
Mhm.
for a single company, right? But you must know your database name, right? So that is the only reason why database is there. Okay. So Ryan, you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. So, as it is a kind of revision for you. So I want you to start from the left hand side and just try to explain this in your own words. I'm silent for 2 minutes. Okay. I just want you to. Okay, guys. In future, now you will also get the same chances. Whenever I will get a new fresh batch, now I will include you just for your revision. Okay. I will simply send you the invite. You can, if you have time, you can join and you can revise the things. Okay. And it will be continue till you will be ready. Okay. Okay, Ryan, go ahead.
You want me to explain it? You said Ryan?
Yeah, I want you to explain in your own words.
Um, uh,
Just
basically,
start from left hand side.
so the workspace app is the
Mm-hmm.
app that's used to access you use your credentials to access the virtual apps and virtual desktops.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like a thin client, a simple machine.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It could be not the thin client, it could be a thin client, your laptop, your desktop, your mobile
yeah,
device, whatever the device.
yes,
Okay.
right,
You can install the workspace app inside the end user device. And one more thing, that left hand part,
right,
as an Citrix administrator, that is not your task to install the Google Chrome along with the Citrix Workspace application. You can guide your local IT team to provide the laptop to the end users with these applications like Citrix Workspace and one web browser. It may be Chrome Firewall or not Firewall, Chrome Firefox or whatever the browser is available. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
um, Citrix Gateway. That's just that's the way for them to connect through like a URL to like a website, the gateway. Is that correct?
So basically, gateway is a kind of extra layer of the security, and it will manage your traffic for
Right.
unauthorized access, right? Like for an example, like I am the end user and I have to hit my storefront. So basically, storefront is nothing, it is a landing page or the website for end user. User will get one website once user enters some URL like www.xyz.com. Okay. So once users enter that URL, then it will ask end user to enter some credentials to get into the data center or to access the resources. So in between, we have configured our firewall or the Citrix NetScaler. It is earlier it was known as the NetScaler, but now they guys renamed the product to the Citrix Gateway. So the the utilization of Citrix Gateway to manage the traffic, to block
Manage
all
the traffic.
the to block all the unnecessary traffic or unauthorized access. Okay. So once users hit the storefront, so as I told you, storefront it is just a web page for end user, and user will get one web page, and in that web page user must have to enter the active directory credentials, whatever the credentials given to the user's name and password, right? So once user enter the password, that particular query, it will go to the Citrix delivery controller. Why? Because Citrix delivery controller, it is a core component in the Citrix data center. It is a mastermind in for that Citrix data center, and delivery controller configured in that way, it will always know like which query needs to forward to which particular server. So in this case, query is to validate the credentials. So that query will go to a delivery controller, and delivery controller know like this is the correct server to validate the credentials. So it will forward the query to the AD server. So once credentials are validated from Active Directory server that credentials are correct, again it will go to the delivery controller, and delivery controller forward that query into the database server, that is SQL server, to check which resources are published or available for that particular user. Maybe Windows 10 desktop, Windows server, any application, whatever the resource. Okay, so it will check into the database. So once it will get data from the database, it will forward the query to the hypervisor. So that is our hypervisor, in which each and every virtual machine or application is hosted. So it will forward the query to the database server, to the hypervisor, to power on the available resources for this particular user. So it will power on the virtual machines for that particular user, and once user click on log, it is a nanosecond task. Okay, users just need to enter the username and password. User must have to click on log on button, and once he click on the log on button, in within a second user will get some tiles like Windows 10 desktop, any application name, Chrome, Firefox, whatever it is. So user will get some tiles on the next screen. So user simply have to click on this particular icon to launch the desktop, and it will download one ICA file from storefront server. ICA is nothing, that is a extension of Citrix workspace application. So it will download one uh, extension for that Citrix workspace. Okay, and that extension, it will be launched with the workspace application, and user is now connected to the data center. User can use the data center or the virtual machine, whatever is published to that particular user. Okay, so basically Citrix workspace app, what is ICA file? Basically that is an extension. It is same like, if you have to open any PDF file with Adobe Reader, right? So for Adobe Reader, extension is .pdf, right? If you do not have any .pdf extension, you cannot open that file with the Adobe Reader, right? So in a same way, you will get one file, and that file will be launched with the help of Citrix workspace application, which is installed inside end user laptop or desktop, or whatever the device he is using. Now,
Quick question. Quick question.
yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Hmm.
Is it regarding? It's regarding Citrix Gateway. Is it correct to say that Citrix Gateway is only handling the authentication traffic, along with providing like a firewall kind of protection? Is that it?
So basically, NetScaler, it is a kind of load balancer, you can
Load
consider.
balancer?
Okay,
Hmm.
means like, look, this is a simple diagram what you can see on your screen, right? But
Hmm.
in production, you will find two, three, or four, or maybe more than five storefront servers. Okay,
Hmm. Okay.
in the same way, you will find two or three delivery controllers. Every component is more than twice for the load balancing. Okay, so
Hmm.
for an example, like let's consider NetScaler. Okay, so let me show you in simple way. I'm just sharing my whiteboard. How to share it? Okay, is that visible, guys? Is it visible, the whiteboard?
Yeah, it
Yes.
is visible.
Yeah.
Okay, so for an example, like let's consider this is my NetScaler. Okay. Okay, let's make it how to drag it. Okay, so for an example, this is my end user device. Okay, and this is my NetScaler, and after NetScaler, I am having multiple sites, like maybe in New York, in Canada, or in India. Okay, or maybe in some other place. Okay, these are my sites, and Now, how connection will so that is my end user device. So let's make it EUD. So that is my end user device. That is my NetScaler NS, and these are my storefront servers. Okay, let's make it here. These are my storefront servers, and these are my sites like for India IND, for USA, let's make it USA. And how we type Canada in short? It's CD or CAD? What is it?
I think CAD should be fine.
Okay, so
Oh,
let's
sorry,
suppose.
CAN. CAN,
Sorry,
sorry. Sorry,
C
CAN.
CA. Okay,
CNN.
okay, and let's suppose this site belongs to New York. Okay, so now I am the end user and I'm connecting to the my data center. Okay, so for data center URL is common, just like www.xyz.com. So that is my company URL, right? Maybe whatever the company, in which company you are working, company URL is always same, right? So now for an example, I'm connecting to my data center from India and I hit the same URL. Okay, this one. So what NetScaler will do, it will verify my host IP address from where I am trying to get a connection. So first it will identify that that connection it is coming from India. So what it will do, it will forward the connection to the India storefront server. In a same way, if someone is trying to connect to the URL from New York, so it will identify the host IP address or the client IP address and it will forward the thing, that connection to the New York. And why is that? Because if someone is connecting to the data center from India, right? So for better connectivity and efficiency, it will route the connection to the India only. Why? Because for the geographical location and distance, right? It cannot forward the connection to the New York. Why? Because network legacy will be there. Okay, latency will be there, and connection will be slow. Although if it can forward the connection to the New York, user will be able to access the resources, but that connectivity it is very slow. Any doubt here? How NetScaler works?
Does the URL can be different? Let's say, obviously, like you mentioned that the Citrix, the URL is the same for the whole company, but it is
Mhm.
based upon the physical location or geographical location that it's NetScaler is going to reroute
Yeah,
that
simple,
thing.
simple. Listen to me.
Okay.
Like when I just try to open the Citrix website from India, okay, so it will
Okay.
simply route me to like citrix.com/in. That is stand from India, stand for
Mhm.
India, right? But
Okay.
if you will try to open the same URL from your location, it will route you something like that citrix.com/us or whatever the location, right?
Okay.
So
Understood.
that activity it is performed by NetScaler only. Why? Because it is load balancing the site. It has to
Mhm.
balance each and everything, and apart from load balancing, it is responsible to block all the unnecessary connections. Means
Okay.
if you entered your username and password more than 3 times incorrect, it will block your connection.
Mhm.
You will never be able to hit the URL again. You will get some error like uh, website is not available or something like that. Okay.
Okay. So in that case, the NetScaler always has to be. It would be a good solution to have it on the cloud or on-prem. In that case,
In both,
and okay.
yeah, both of the cases, that is
Understood.
mandatory to have it. Why? Because we are into the virtual world and we have to secure our virtual infra.
Mhm.
Okay.
So with does NetScaler also have to access SQL Server also for, the database?
No,
And
no.
no?
That is a networking component. Okay. It has nothing to do with your database, with your IAD server. Okay. It has nothing to
No.
do. It
Okay.
simply have to forward your connection to the respective site, and it will detect your local IP from where you are accessing the resource. Okay.
Right.
So if you are
Okay.
accessing the resource from Canada, so it will detect the local IP of your system, like that connection is coming from this particular location, and it will forward the connection to the respective site,
But it
whatever.
also checks your username and password.
No, no, it will never check your username and password. It will
Okay.
forward the connection to the storefront server. You will hit the storefront server of the nearest site, okay?
Huh?
And in that storefront URL, you have to enter your credentials.
Right.
You are allowed to do that for 3 times or 5 times as per the company policy, okay?
Okay.
And
Okay.
once storefront denied, like that user already entered the 5 time incorrect password or username, right? Then it will forward the query to the NetScaler to block that connection.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
NetScaler has nothing to do with your database. It will
Okay.
simply responsible to route your connection to the storefront server. And
Right. Okay.
storefront can check the things with the database.
So it's just like rerouting the sessions initiated by the
Simply, it is just like a firewall, like means
user.
if you are having any router in your house, right? So what it will do, it will simply like if you can block any port, right? So that is responsible to block that thing, right? It has nothing to do
Understood.
with your laptop or your OS, whatever you are using, right?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it is simply okay. One more thing that is very very important in like most of the companies, NetScaler, it has been taken care by the networking team. Okay,
Mhm.
but you always know what is going wrong. Okay, like for Citrix L3 and L4 guys who is on at top level, they always know what is going on inside infra, right? So in most of the companies, NetScaler it is a networking component, and it has to be taken care by the network team. But in some scenarios, like for a small organization, no, like if they cannot afford to hire a separate team for a separate things, right? In small companies, they used to hire one guy and he is responsible for everything, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So in that case, you might have to handle it. But uh,
Mm.
if you have joined with the big giants, they guys having separate team for the separate components.
Got it.
Okay, guys. So I think in this call only a 1 minute is remaining. And what I'm doing, I'm terminating the call. Let's have one tea break and we'll connect after 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
I will
Sounds
share
good.
a new invite to you guys. Okay. 5 to 10
Okay.
minutes. Let's take a break. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Yeah. Thank you guys.